Greetings all, and welcome to my channel. My name is Raine, and in today's video, I will be fixing the bland soulless characters conjured up by the dastardly Yandere Dev. Now, no shade on the actual artist, but Yandere Sim's characters need a lot of work. And today I will try my best to make them better, but I can't guarantee I'll be able to. Onward to the designs. Okay, to begin, I'm going to be redesigning Osana. And I am very disappointed to say I used to be into Yandere Simulator. I should have known that it was going to end up being a franchise that I should not have been a part of. But I was just in middle school, so how was I supposed to know? A few years after though, I was kind of catching on to the really suspicious behavior of Yandere Dev, so I wasn't really shocked at that point that he did end up being a predator. So let's really get into how bad his characters were created. With Osana, she is literally just the textbook tsundere. I mean, that's kind of just like the description of any of his characters that he made for this game. They are just like stereotypical cliche characters, and I just wanted to kind of just add personality to each of them. Yandere-chan is like the only one that I ended up mostly keeping the same, just because she is the main character and it sort of makes sense why she acts that way, but I did want to add more depth to her, so you will see that in the middle of this video, I think. So to start with, I actually wanted to mix Osana with Raiburu, because I personally think Raiburu is just a waste of space character that just didn't really add anything to Osana's character, so to me it made more sense for them to be mixed together. And the things that I really brought over were her shorter hairstyle, her martial artist nature, her fighting nature. I ended up making Osana more of a tougher girl than just her cutesy tsundere nature. I ended up bringing that from Raiburu into her. And one of the things is I ended up making the characters in general be in a American school, just a school where there's not just Japanese people, because I mean Yandere Dev isn't even Japanese, so there's no need for them to be in Japan. It's might I say, kind of weeb-like to do that. So the only one I ended up keeping Japanese is Yandere-chan. I changed her name. I also changed Osana's name. And I changed Taro's name, because they're not all Japanese anymore. I unfortunately turned Osana into a ginger white girl, but whatever. I wanted to really mix up the characters. If I did more of them, I would explore more avenues of changing their race, changing their styles. Speaking of style, Osana is now a Gyaru girl because she hangs out with the Gyaru girls in the school, which I hate that they're bullies. But the bullies, she hangs out with them at a certain point in her routine or something. And I've completely forgotten to tell you what her name is now. Her name is Oriana. I just feel like it was a lot more fitting because it's not just a Japanese name, and that means gold, sunrise, or dawn. And that just matches her fiery nature, especially that I've changed her to be a lot more tougher, rather than just, oh, I hate you but I love you kind of personality that she currently has, which I think is super boring and cringe. I do not really like tsunderes that much, but yeah, I mostly I changed her name because it just fit better. I don't even know what Osana means. I think it means like a childhood friend. Her like full name means childhood friend, and that's not really original at all. But now Oriana means gold sunrise dawn. I just like the names of the characters making more sense in the context of their stories, not in the context of you as a viewer, you know? I feel like it makes more sense for her to be named in a realistic way rather than named for her role in the grand scheme of things. Like, her parents weren't thinking she was gonna be a childhood friend of someone, so why would they call her a childhood friend? It doesn't make sense. I like making my names for my characters make sense and have meanings to them. So her name is Oriana now, and I think that like kind of feels like a sassy type name, which matches her new style, her new Gyaru style that she has going for her, and to me that makes more sense, you know? I really like how she like has a personality now. Like, she's not just like a flat character that's just got one thing going for her and that's that. Like, I don't know, it just makes more sense to me. And I also brought the like warmers from Raibaru over, but mostly I didn't really take much from Raibaru because I just don't really love Raibaru as a character. She doesn't need to have like a bodyguard. Like, it's weird that she has that. She could be her own bodyguard, you know? Like, give her that fighting capability that Raibaru has, but just put it in her character. I know that there's like I don't know, the actual like sports type characters later, but like you can veer them in a different sport way rather than like strength. Like, I don't know. It's just, I know there's like a delinquent girl. She's probably strong too, but I just wanted it to make sense, and Raibaru being gone just makes more sense to me, you know? So, and I also do think that in a way, Oriana, she could just end up being like Raibaru, being around Taro, just like all the time, and there's only certain times where you can catch her off guard and trick her into doing things and so on and so forth. Get her to do grimy things or whatever. I don't know. The game's weird. I'm not trying to explain the game. I'm just trying to explain my thought process. And to me, like, her being the one that kind of clings to Taro makes more sense to me than like his sister being the one that's clingy, because that's, I think, what she was supposed to be later in the game, which is weird to me. I think that his sister probably could have been like made a little bit less creepy. Like why is she in love with her brother or something, whatever, because that's the vibes I got from it, and I just always feel like that's a really creepy route to go. So now Oriana's the clingy one because she is the one that grew up with Taro and she protects him, and she's like Raibaru but for Taro, you know? And to me that makes more sense than the sister being the clingy one later in the game, you know? Like, I honestly really don't like Taro's sister at all. I think she did not need to exist. All these characters in a way are kind of like creepy and weird, but that's just because Yandere Dev is the person that he is. And I just really wanted to just like veer away from that and make the characters not creepy at all. Make them, if they were like in a high school drama setting, like a Netflix show or something, rather than a weird like anime that sexualizes high school students, you know? Just get away from that, you know? So I think that's really it for Oriana. I hope you like what I did with her, and I'll show you what I've done with Yandere-chan and Taro after this. If you like the artwork I've made so far, consider subscribing. I would love to bring you more art, and the only way to do that is if I know you're here to support me in my YouTube journey. Let's get right into what you've been waiting for. On to the next designs. Okay, now for Ayano. I'm going to start with her name change because that's like the biggest thing to me. Ayano had like a generic meaning too. It was something along the lines of her being a yandere or something like that. Like that was what her name was based off of in the context of the game. I hate the names being like based off of the context of the game. Like I feel like the names should be based on the character's personality, based off of like them, you know, like that feels like that makes more sense to me. So her name is Ayame. It's actually not that different, but now it makes sense. Her name is Sprout Love Blessing, and the Sprout Love thing to me makes so much sense. And of course, that's kind of like game related, storyline, plotline related name, but it makes sense for Ayame like to be her name because her mom was just like her. So having her have a love type name, having a sprouting love type name, you know, like it just makes sense in the context of her character and her just surroundings, like her what's gone on in her life, you know. So her name is now Ayame. And I just love that because the sprouting love thing it helps with the context of her loving, like falling in love at first sight with Charo. So she ends up like bumping into him in the hall or something, and that's when she like falls in love with him. I'd like to say that in this one, since this is like a high school drama type thing, like that type of show, they end up going and hanging out after. Like she asked him out. By the way, I also made her like really actually trying to mask her how she actually feels on the inside, not in whatever way her bland like freaking just generic self was in Yandere Sim, but like in an actual real way of faking it. So she ends up asking Char to hang out with her after school, like right after that, and just to get to know him. And that's like when she's really like, oh wait, I feel different around this guy. Wow, I actually love someone. He should be mine, you know, like that's when she gets like that crazy, like, oh my god, he needs to be mine no matter what kind of thing. Like it's not instantly as she sees him, it kind of just like leads up, like she gets like kind of like a flutter in her heart when they first bump into each other, but like it kind of leads into that like obsession, and like it's a lot more of a gradual process rather than like literally like a week later she starts killing people, you know, like that's so weird to me. But an example of like that masking that I was talking about was I actually made her try to look fashionable. Like she's trying to look cute, like a cute schoolgirl, because she is actually popular. She is so good at faking it that she gets along with a lot of people. Therefore, it explains why she's able to convince people of things in the actual game and, you know, like, I don't know, just like tell them things and like go out of her way to talk to people. Like she's done that her whole life. She's faked that her whole life. So now she's using that to her advantage in the actual like game, you know? So to me, I think that's like a really cool like way to do it. And an example you probably saw in the speed paint, I have a Dexter. I'm sorry, I'm giggling because I'm watching Dexter right now. It's the most unserious show to me ever. Like it's like I watched Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul way before, and I love those shows. They're literally like my favorite freaking live action shows ever. And Dexter, in comparison, it just feels like the most unserious serious show ever. And I just wanted to like reference Dexter with this. So like her face is inspired by like his like the promotional like material of like the new Dexter show or something. Um by the way, I'm nowhere near done with Dexter, so please do not spoil it for me. I am gonna sit through the crappy seasons because I love it. I don't, but I am gonna watch it anyways. No offense to the people who like the new seasons. I just heard that they're not that great. I'm still gonna watch them now. I do not give up. But back to that, like Dexter is a great example of like masking like who he is. Like he literally ends up getting, wait, no, I don't want to spoil it for you. Spoiler disclaimer, I'm about to say spoilers for Dexter. He ends up getting a family and like pretending that he's normal, like at some point. Of course, that kind of like breaks and he can't hide it anymore, and like he kind of falters a little bit, but it's like how I feel like Ayame should act. It's like she is pretending to be normal and she's not at all normal. So she's a Dexter type character to me. She's still like a villain. Dexter is technically not a villain, but he is a villain, you know. But, you know, like she's more villainous than Dexter because she's literally like killing to kill, you know. She's just killing because she's crazy. I mean, Dexter is crazy, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I don't make any sense, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it makes more sense that she would like be like have this like pre-standing like relationship with like a lot of people, like because to me, I feel like the pacing of Yandere Simulator is super quick and weird. Having a like the characters feel like they had a life before we started seeing their lives makes more sense to me than the characters just existing all of a sudden in the middle of the game. Like, why aren't they just there, you know? Like, why aren't they characters that get introduced in the beginning with like stories already, and then they get more developed? Like, they should still have background and personality before they end up becoming like the main plot. Like for the other rivals, they aren't really like a thing until the week that you have to kill them or have to eliminate them. And I think it's kind of lazy. Like, I don't know. It's just, it feels lazy to me. So I just think it makes more sense to give these like characters just way more to them, you know? And Taro is a great example of that. I'm going to ramble about that because I feel like a lot of the characters are just so stereotypical. Like, apparently Yandere said that Ayano wasn't inspired by oh man, what's her name from Mary Nikki? I forgot her name. I'm sorry. I watched Mary Nikki, I promise, but I just like apparently she wasn't inspired by that, but she feels like she's an exact copy of that character. Like I don't know, it feels super lazy. And even like one of her original designs is kind of like her hair, like the little like spikes. I ended up putting that in the new design because I wanted to just give her more visual interest. By visual interest, I also put a bunch of hearts all over her because she's trying to be cute. So I really pushed that, you know? And like her whole purpose is the love thing. So I just made her like, she's giving Valentine's, but that was a week ago. I'm late to that. Sorry. I should have posted this on Valentine's Day, but I didn't. But yeah, Ayame, she feels more fleshed out like this. And that's really all I have to say about her. So let's get on to Taro. Now, for Taro. Okay. I really, 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 really could not wait to fix this man. Because, oh my god, bro is the most boring character in the game, and he's literally the love interest. So, first and foremost, I had to give him more of a personality. Just because he's supposed to be a blank slate that you can customize later in the game doesn't mean that he shouldn't have a pre-existing look and personality that you could just add on to. You know, it seems like an unnecessary addition in the first place to me to be able to customize Taro, because I feel like it would have been much better if he was just a character like the rivals are, you know? Like, I don't love that he has to be like such a boring character that has nothing going for him. And it's weird to me that he's just like a guy with black hair and he's just wearing the normal uniform. Oh yeah, well, I got rid of uniforms, if you couldn't tell. I forgot to mention that earlier. Since this is just a normal American high school, they all have their own individual looks because it leaves you so much room to give your characters more personality without having to say what their personality is. And the school uniform kind of inhibits that, especially if all you can do is just give your characters stockings and move on, you know? Like, that's not that's not a fun way to really show somebody's personality. And most of the rivals are just different hairstyle, different stockings. Some of them have different looks going on, but most of them are literally just different hairstyle, different stockings, and like insert random accessory, you know? So I wanted to avoid that, and that's why all the characters have their own individual outfits. And another thing that really shows the character's personality is giving them a name that is like fitting of their character. So he is very much like he has things that he likes. Like, it says that his things that he likes are justice, reading, solitude, family, and nature. And it's so funny to me that he doesn't show any of that in his character at all. So, like, I mean, to be fair, he does. Like, when he reacts to things, that shows his justice, and he's seen reading, I think, in the game. But, and also, I hate that he's a loner type and he likes solitude. Why would the main love interest of 12 different girls, or 13 different girls, why would he be a loner, and why would he prefer solitude? I think that he should be an extrovert, because why else would everybody love him? I don't like the normal popular guy route in a lot of like dramas and like romances, but it can be done in a way that's not super obnoxious. Like, they don't have to be like a freaking jock character or like the generic stereotype. So I ended up making Taro a popular guy that likes his alone time, but he is a very sensitive, sweet guy. And I even changed his name to Torre. And I really like this name because I ended up making him Mexican because I just really wanted to show that he is a standout from the crowd. And I even gave him a name of Latin origin, just really show that there's strongness to his name, like something that stands out from, like, just, it's just different, you know? And that means tower, mountain, rocky peak. And I really liked that it meant tower because he's like the pillar that the whole game is like standing on. He is the foundation, so he needs to be a strong foundation. You don't want to be killing 12, I keep saying killing, eliminating 12 different rivals for a guy that has like no personality. I don't know, it just feels like he needs to have a better foundation, which is why I wanted to bring in more of his personality traits into his design. Like, I'm showing you that he loves nature by giving him a flower in his hair, and I'm showing you that he loves reading by giving him a book, and I'm showing you that he has more personality by giving him a like very like Latino shirt. Like it shows that he's got like an energy to him. Like, I feel like it really makes it like makes him seem a lot more approachable than just a normal loner black haired just guy. Like, I just feel like him having this softer, sweeter demeanor, him being just a kind, popular guy that you could just be friends with, like, it will give you a lot more reason to actually like him. And I feel like him not being a loner allows more for that plot I was talking about before of Ayame like going and hanging out with him, because he would be open to that, because he's open to having friends, open to being around people all the time. He really just enjoys like company, you know? So it just really, it makes him feel a lot more like a real human being that people would be gravitating towards rather than a plain guy. And overall, I still kind of like kept his outfit simple. I didn't like give him any crazy like shoes or pants or anything. I just wanted him to look like he was a kind and approachable person, you know? I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's super important to me that he is a figure of like high standing in the school for it to really make sense that he is getting all this attention from all these girls, and there's really like, it'll give you a sense of like real competition, because like it just makes more sense to me. I don't know, it just makes more sense. So that's really it for today's video. On to the outro. Now here are all the finished drawings of today's video sliding on by. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, like, comment, and subscribe. Stick around and you'll be able to see many more of my designs. Until next time, farewell.